What is up, homies? I'm back, and I've got a little bit of a different kind of video today. Last night, I went to pick up a package that was sent to me from the homies at Yamaha, and we're gonna get into it. So the SEQTRAK's been out for a little while. It's been about 2 years, and there's been a lot of thoughts and feelings and opinions on it. I know that a big software update actually just rolled out not too long ago, so it's a little different. So I guess my perspective on this will certainly be more recent than whatever else you might find out there. But yeah, I can't wait to dive into this and see what the deal is, see if it lives up to the hype, and see what it's like to make some music on this thing. Okay, so here we've got beautiful packaging. We've got a hint to the white and orange. That's the color of the unit that I've got. And nice big SEQTRAK overlaid over a graphic of the device itself. Yeah, let's get into it. And here we are. What else is in here? We've got documentation. Oh, cables. Okay, documentation we can get to later. Very nice. Okay, so we've got the SEQTRAK here, and as you can see, I have it, in front of my 10 keyless keyboard. It is about as wide as that, just a little bit extra on the sides. And yeah, looking at it, we've got some knobs, we've got controls, we've got these touch-sensitive sensors here, and then we've got these pretty satisfying keys for laying in your, your drum roll, and also for synth controls. There are buttons on the sides here, which you can use in combination with a bunch of different things in order to, access contextual menus, because there's no screen here. So all your interfacing, unless you're connected to your phone or your tablet or your computer via Bluetooth or via USB-C. All of the controls that you can access are done entirely on device by these kind of contextual hold menus. That's not my favorite, but I don't think it's an inherently bad choice. I think it just is a choice that comes with limitations, and that's good for some people, that's good for some contexts. But most of the time when I'm making music, I kind of just want to go right into what I want to do, and I know where I want to look for things, and I don't really want to spend a ton of time diving through menus. But if I'm just kind of on the go and not really thinking about anything, I'm just jamming out for fun, then that's not so bad. So yeah, you've got these over here are your controls for your drum patterns, and of course you've got an all, which kind of navigates through the different patterns for all of your tracks. Let's call them tracks. So you've got individual drum tracks, synth 1, synth 2, DX, and a sampler. Or you can just navigate throughout the pattern selector. You get 3 for each on each track. If you click these, you get to hear or audition what the sound that's currently loaded sounds like. So that's what I've got loaded up on here right now. I did dive around and change a few of these sounds. You do that just by selecting a track and then using the sound knob to go through. One thing I do wish would happen is as you scroll through here, you would actually hear the sound, but otherwise, in order to do that, you actually have to scroll and then tap again, scroll, tap again in order to hear it. Also, as you can hear, the echo that I had on this snare is gone now. Every time you load a new sound or a new patch in, whatever effects that you had configured on there, those go away and those reset. So basically save your effects and whatever you're mixing, as it were, until after you are sure you've locked in your sounds. Yeah, as I mentioned, you have synth and DX engine here. The only way to play these right now is actually to use those keys. This one is actually the record key. This is not great, but the good news is you actually can connect a MIDI keyboard to the SEQTRAK, either via USB-C or, yes, here you go. So you've got this MIDI connector, connects through this 1/8 inch jack, and you've got a in and out. There you go. And so yeah, you can use that to connect a MIDI controller in order to actually play things a little more easily. But yeah, let's just mess around a little bit. I'm gonna punch in a beat real quick. Okay, I like that already. That's a pretty good start. As you can see, all of these patterns are running the same length, which to start is 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4 bars. So I'm gonna extend that for one of these because I want a variation on maybe the second go around. So what I just did there was hold bar length, and on the snare just scroll this wheel to add more beats to it. When you do that, as you go along, it will basically just place your hits in the same space, just essentially doubling up the pattern you have. But now you can maybe tell that the lights only run once across here because I'm now on a second page, basically. So there you go. On the second go around, I have these added 2 hits on the snare. Yeah. And so if I want to tell where I am in any given pattern, I have this page button here. Indicator lights right here will flash, and it'll show me if I'm on, page 1 or page 2. So that's page 2. Get back, or I'm on page 1. There we go. And now I see page 2, and it'll flash. It'll flash to show, oh, the other one that you're not looking at is still here as well. So page 1. Okay, I like that I've put in here on this perk 2. Let's mess around with some effects and see what I can put on here. I'm in the other bank right now, which sounds to me a little bit like a ping pong kind of delay or a chorus. Not sure exactly what. So I also have this switch here, so whatever effects I'm manipulating, I can either have this set to control just a single track or the master track. So I'm on single, so I'm only working with this perk 2 right here. So if I slide up the effects level, let's hear what that sounds like. Okay, so some kind of delay or repeater thing, which is funny because we also have a repeater here. So when you manipulate this, this is always on the master. Let's scroll around and find something else. So we've got a delay on here, and I just have like the slightest touch. I'm like one light of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of the effects level, which is basically your dry wet. So fully wet, somewhere halfway down between. Just need a little bit though. All right, let's put something on the snare. Okay, that's cool. All right, let's play with this BPM control, because I don't know about this one, but we do have BPM up and down just as buttons here. Okay, good news is it's pretty responsive. I do wish this was a knob or a dial of some sort. It's also worth noting this might be the one and only, I guess, piece of interface on this where I actually think that not having a screen is kind of like an utter failure, or just really a complete disservice. Everything else I think you can kind of work around, because I think what this device invites you to consider is, if you don't have a screen, if you're not like measuring parameters, you're just using your ears to listen to what you're making. But BPM, I actually just want to know what the tempo is, and there's nothing here that can indicate that for me. Even if it was just like an LCD with a number, that would be great. But you know, we don't get that. Okay, so we're already having fun with this. I knocked in a real simple groove and put in a little bit of effects on it to kind of, you know, meld it together. And then now you can just like play with this high pass filter and the repeater, and you can do both together. And you've got a little bit of a performance mode I think that's really dope. Between this and the MIDI connector where you can have MIDI, sync coming in and out, I think that this could be really, really useful in, a live performance rig with some other drum machines and samplers and things where you've got something else with a little bit more smarts or whatever kind of sending and managing the clock. I really like this. I think that this is really cool. It's really easy to get into working on stuff. And it's just quirky enough that it's like inviting but not too intimidating, which I think is honestly a really really good strong suit, and makes perfect sense with everything that has kind of come out of Yamaha's lineage, right? Like, I think of other weird little instruments like the Tenorion, for example. And that's another one that doesn't really have a screen, but also kind of does, because the entire interface and all the buttons are essentially giving you feedback and can kind of and it's large enough that it can kind of display some informational feedback. But yeah, it's also just like not a thing that really requires you to have a ton of, musical background or acumen, right? Like, you can just sit down with this thing, start punching in MIDI, and just listen to it. And I think that that's really cool. I think the more instruments like this, the better, right? So yeah, I'm not gonna play anything or really try to compose or write or record anything using this, but I am gonna scroll through some of the sounds, because you've got 2 synth tracks and a DX track, and Yamaha's got some legendary, really beautifully recorded sounds and patches. So I want to hear just what of all of those might be included on this. Just a sample. Yeah, let's get into it. Okay, I've already just noticed something here. So you might be able to see here, as I press this one note, multiple keys are lighting up. So there's like a chord mode on this patch. Yeah, so pre-programmed on this patch here, just by default, there's a chord mode. And again, if you connect it to the app and use the on-screen interface, you can see what kind of configurations are there. You can probably manipulate that a little bit more, get into the weeds of how this sounds, how the chord mode is triggered. But yeah, like this right here, this is one note at a time. It is polyphonic, but it is playing just one note for each key that I hit. So yeah, you've got customizability even within these patches. You can't really do a ton here, but yeah, that's what the app is for. Yeah, so those are cool. The DX, we've got lots of great stuff on here. Again, I wish when you scrolled through the sound knob, it would automatically play that sample. But I think I figured out the reason why. Actually, maybe it doesn't. Maybe it's not so intensive on the DX. But I did notice maybe not here. What I was going to say is, because it does actually have to load these patches, it does take, the slightest amount of time to do it. And so, yeah, like even when I'm just scrolling and then immediately hitting, sometimes you don't hear them. Sometimes they don't trigger automatically. These ones mostly seem to be doing so. But maybe that's a reason why, because it does like actually take a second. Um, Still, I mean, this is me being impatient. I'm used to scrolling through, a bunch of patches in various VSTs at will and just hearing all of them just kind of run through. And, I'm not saying that that's I'm not saying that that's the best impulse, especially for a device that kind of is designed to impose limitations on you a little bit, creative limitations. But, that is just how I feel about it. Oh, that's so nice. All right, let's put some effects on this just to hear it. Okay, so all in all, I really like this thing. And granted, it's only been, a little bit of using it, but I think the instincts in this device are correct, or they are good. They are overall beneficial. I think devices like this do need to exist. This is fun, it's weird, and it has great sounds in it. And on top of that, it has such a locked in workflow that there's kind of no getting around the fact that once you commit to figuring this thing out, or commit to learning about how deep you can go with all of this, either with the limitations of just using the hardware or even connecting the app, I think you're just going to be able to pull off some really, really impressive stuff. I think it's really incredible how many great high quality sounds are built into this thing. And I don't doubt that someone's going to make some really, really impressive beats that you'll, granted, be able to make way easier with a DAW or with literally anything with a screen. But I think that that's also kind of what makes this thing so special, right? It's that it can do all of this stuff, and it is just a matter of like, are you willing to commit to doing it on this? But yeah, someone is definitely going to love this thing with their whole heart. I really like it a lot right now, and I've barely used the thing. So yeah, I look forward to, throwing this in my tote bag and traveling with this when I'm on tour, or, just occupying myself on like a long train ride or something when I'm on tour. I think it's going to be a lot of fun to dive deeper into all of what you can do. I think it's going to be very satisfying to figure out how to do some of the harder stuff, and, learn about all the weird and extra steps that you have to do. And like, that part's not going to be fun, but once I have done it and it works the way that I that I planned, and whatever I hear next is exactly what I set out to do. I think that that's going to be very satisfying. So yeah, overall, I really like this thing. So thank you so much to Yamaha for sending me the SEQTRAK. Um, it's always great, getting to hear from those guys and getting a chance to get my hands on whatever they're cooking up over there. And of course, this is no different. And all the music that you hear in this video was produced entirely on the SEQTRAK. So, there's that. Thanks for watching. Be sure to follow me on, Instagram, Blue Sky, wherever you follow me. I have new music out. I'm about to go on tour. I always have merch available for sale. So, yeah, come tap in. All the links are in the description. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one.